Hey, everybody. Welcome to Monday night. I hope you're having a great Monday night, the day after Christmas, or if you're watching this on replay, thank you for coming to watch it. We have several guests tonight, and we're going to bring them on in about 10 minutes. If you're watching this on replay, you may want to fast forward to that point or sit back and enjoy the countdown.
Just buying that software isn't what makes the difference. You've got to learn to use that tool, just like you've got to learn to use your high-end Powermatic woodworking tools or Festool for Sedge out there.
So I think you got to kind of leverage all of it.
And I just realized this is a new camera. I didn't take off the protective plastic over it, so I don't know if that was blurry or not for you. Oops.
Oh, hey, look at that.
In your little intro, which was very well put together, as I was sitting backstage and you had all these little clips from your previous guests, there was lots of good information in there, but somebody mentioned, just finding that thing that you love and do the thing you love. Don't make things that you don't like making.
In terms of growing a business, especially a business where you make things, is make the things you want to sell. I want to say Brad Rodriguez said this many times a while back, where it's like, if you don't want to sell cutting boards, stop making cutting boards. If you want to sell tables, make some tables and sell them at a loss if you have to, just to get some tables out there you sold. You attract clients that you can show you've actually made a thing. If you're trying to sell couches, don't keep making coasters telling people you can make couches. Make some couches.
A lot of times, usually when people start out on YouTube or when they're building a YouTube channel, they'll feel like their energies, if it's a scale of 1 to 10, they'll feel like they're at like an 8 or a 9, and they'll be like, woohoo! But then when they actually watch themselves on camera, it's actually more like a 2 or 3.
We do take sponsors, especially as a lot of the smaller channels. And there's two ways that they talk about sponsorship. Sponsorship is someone paying you to do something, and the other one is getting free tools and stuff.
Launch day is my favorite day. That is my favorite day of the week. I just absolutely love launching videos and getting the feedback. So yeah, that's most videos take 4 to 5 full days to make. And I would like to streamline that. I would like to put out more videos in a week.
It's really kind of sad because I didn't get involved even when he was doing the noodle boards. He pretty much did all that. I did everything in the house so that he could stay in the shop a lot.
I am a little conflicted, I think. It initially started off with just sharing like my sewing machines and sewing tips and stuff like that. And then it kind of morphed into sharing the Mastering Mayhem merch items that I was making. And then along the way, I kind of shared some DeWalt tool and obsessions that I've had.
Hats off to Ira. I mean, I can't imagine doing it with small kids. That's a lot of work.
Well, this is a little chaotic, so.
My part really didn't start until Live Edge started. When we started Live Edge, I don't know, I felt different about everything. It felt real to me. I think everything started feeling real to him, after the first few months because he was in the shop. It didn't really feel real to me until Live Edge started. And now I see this as my future too. I don't think I'll be a teacher much longer.
Because I wasn't quite niched enough, but I think because my channel name is I Don't Even Work Here, I think I'm just going to roll with.
I'm going to put out some shorts for Stage.
One thing I'm good at probably more than anything else is business and understanding the way businesses work and how to run a business. And I always come at from very much the money ball approach. I don't want to hit home runs. I just want to get on base and get on base and get on base.
And I think it's easier for people to look at my story, for example, or anybody like in a similar story and think that was an easy decision. And I can't state how much that was a very hard decision for both my wife and I.
I like the premise of doing a tool review, comparing two tools, and especially if they are popular tools.
You can make the life you want to, you can make the business you want to, whatever it is you want to make.
It wasn't like YouTube's good and this and that. Like I was still pretty new to YouTube and didn't know that was sustainable long term, and so it was a gamble. And I'd worked for a long time to get in the position I was at, and it was a very, very hard decision to basically give that up for potentially the rest of my life.
I never even considered the second channel. I just think all of my content needs to go where I am.
It's a lot of risk and fear, but moving through those deliberately.
There's a system to it, and you follow that system.
So what have you learned and done to try to change? And so that's the thing I always use. It's a continuous process of evolution.
Scheduling and trying to edit and get a video out, like it's really hard to follow exactly. If you do that and do it consistently, it'll generate views.
Interesting. A lot of times you might see channels or businesses that are frustrated because they're not growing, and you look and you realize that for years or dozens of iterations, you look at the most recent and you go back a few years or a few dozen iterations and there's zero change.
I'd like to see channels evolve into more of like a channel, like we're traditional like TV channel, where you have a channel, but there's different shows within that channel. And, you know, you could have the segment for your shorts or your live streams and your longs, you know, all these different things. And people can kind of just pick and choose what they want to watch.
And my goal isn't to get the most views on YouTube. My goal is, you know, to provide confidence, inspiration, and knowledge through entertaining and engaging content. So
what's the next step? What is the next thing? What's going to get you to that next place?
You got to get them to click. You got to get them to watch. I'm terrible at thumbnails. I hate doing them. I would stress so bad over doing them. I've actually hired somebody else to do them now. That's why they look different. I'm not doing them anymore. I took that out of my hands, and I'm stress-free on that part.
Another thing is also onboarding people that are better than me at something. So I have an editor I've been working with for about 2 years now.
One day it just kind of hit me that, okay, I watch a lot of these videos and I obviously find value in them. Why can I not be the person on the other side of the camera, right? Providing the content and the information.
With me being a business-minded individual and trying to make sure that I'm providing for my family, but also always growing.
Our audience smells authenticity, and whether or not you're enjoying what you do very easy.
I'll always be that individual that loves YouTube, that always wants to do extremely detailed videos on how to build.
I feel like the biggest challenge is probably getting yelled at to put on protective.
I'm still focused on my woodworking. I'm focused on trying to get better. I just want to try new things and break barriers and just be the best woodworker I can be, and then document that. I just don't really have the time or desire to really become a student of YouTube. So I'm always playing catch up. I'm always just doing the best I can to get the most out of what we're doing, but I am no student of YouTube, that's for sure.
A good plan of attack is to create a channel on YouTube or an account on YouTube that you don't have any ties to. You've never watched anything on there, and just start watching content you're interested in on that channel. Don't watch the news, or don't click off and start watching, you know, the latest episode or whatever. Just use that account strictly for that, and that'll kind of start drumming up what's being surfaced to people. And then from there, you can kind of...
You know, as far as equipment goes, and I say this adamantly all the time, there is nothing I've ever made that I couldn't make by hand. You know, and I have a skill set that I've developed that I could make it by hand. Does having a CNC make it faster? You bet it does.
The big change that I've seen is that people have gotten even shorter attention spans than normal. So if you are going to start a YouTube channel and you're going to start recording yourself working, keep the pace really, really fast. People get bored super quick, and when they get bored, they either start tapping those arrow keys to speed through the video, or else they'll just drag the slider across the screen so that they can speed through and skip to the end and see what you've built. But if you want to engage them throughout the whole video, you've got to keep the pace really, really fast.
Basically structure your channel so that you generate more views. They watch one video, they're going to watch the next, the next, the next. If you look, and you can tell the difference I can see it in my analytics. I can see it in the way my channel's structured.
The first thing that I would recommend to anybody, and this of course applies to any niche that you're looking to start a channel for, is before you even take the first steps in terms of researching and all that, which we'll talk about in a second, I would have a really honest conversation with yourself about what you're looking to get out of the channel and what your expectations are.
As a rule of thumb, post-production takes 6 times recorded footage length. Not shoot time, but recorded footage length. So if you record a 5-minute clip, it's going to take you a minimum of 30 minutes to edit that 5-minute clip, even if you only edit down into 30 seconds, because you have to watch it, then you make some notes, and then you watch it again, you make some cuts, and you watch it again, and then when it fits into the timeline, by a rule, you're going to see that same clip roughly 6 times.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Monday night. We are always trying to make Monday nights great. Tonight is a special night. It's the day after Christmas. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I am glad that you are here. I want to remind you that the chat is where it's at. You can chat it up with each other, chat it up with our guest or with me. And if you do have a milestone to share with us, say you're celebrating something on YouTube or celebrating something in your personal life or work, share it with an M at the beginning of the chat message. That helps us find it, make sure that we recognize you. If you have a question, put a Q at the beginning of your chat comment, and we'll try to get all the questions answered. Let's get some guests on here. Darius from Mighty Sawdust, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. I appreciate you coming on last week. I appreciate you being here today. How was your Christmas?
It was actually pretty good. It was relaxing, enjoyable, and stress-free.
Stress-free. That's the dream. Let's bring on Chris from Custom Creative Carvings. Did I say it right?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, you got me. Custom Creative Carvings.
Awesome. How are you tonight?
Doing really well. Christmas was anything but stress-free, but it went fantastically, and it's over, so we can start stressing about next Christmas.
Awesome. Well, don't start the countdown yet. We also have Friday workshop. Matt and Dom, how are you?
We're doing pretty good. We've had a pretty relaxing week. And
yeah, it was Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you had a great Christmas. Hope Santa brought you what you wanted, and you were able to enjoy it. I appreciate you being on here. I thought there might be 1 or 2 more joining us, but we will talk, and if anybody else joins, then that would be great. I know that last Wednesday you released your videos as part of the Secret Santa collaboration. Now, what was the premise of, Matt, you led this up. Maybe you can tell us, what was the premise of the Secret Santa collaboration this year, and what did y'all make?
Yeah, so this was the second annual one that we've done. Jose from Jar Made was the one who ran the one last year, and so this year we ran it because Jose couldn't participate in it again this year, and he allowed us to take the reins. And yeah, last year our theme was boxes, and this year it was ornaments, and so it kind of opens up the creativity where we don't kind of restrict it too much. And so yeah, everybody got to make an ornament, and then they shipped it to somebody else, and they got to react, and it's kind of one of those cross-channel promotion type of things. So really fun.
Yeah, I think we gained like 5 subscribers from it.
Yeah, so we were stealing Darius's subscribers. Thank you, Darius.
Yeah, I gained 5 also, actually.
Yeah, so I was part of the collaboration last year. This year, my work schedule and personal life didn't allow for it. But I was on the chat and got to see your communications. And it looked like everybody was having fun, and I really enjoyed all the videos. You know, one of the aspects that I really like is that you create a topic and you say, we're going to make ornaments, and then you send them to each other. But the creativity aspect is each individual creators. They can do their own research and design whatever ornament they want. And it just is up to their skill level, what tools they have, and how adventurous they want to be. Chris, I know that for you, you're known for your CNC action, but you actually showed some different skills this year. You want to tease the audience about that and what you made?
Yeah, and like you said, the chat was awesome. The chat was lively, and I got in the chat, and somebody called me out and said, "Hey, Chris, you can't use the CNC this year." And I know it was just in jest, but I took that as a personal challenge, and so I went into it and looked at it and said, "What can I make?" I mean, I've made a dozen ornaments on the CNC or 24 ornaments on the CNC since the video came out. But I decided to number one, go to the lathe to start it out. But I also decided that I'd add some personality to the individual ornaments by bringing my family in and letting my kids help with the decoration of the ornaments.
Yeah, I think that's great. Did it as a family activity. What's more Christmas than bringing the family and getting them involved and showing off your skills on the lathe? I was impressed. So that's good. It's nice to see some of your skills beyond the CNC, and your CNC skills are definitely without a challenge.
We gave
Thank you,
Chris, so much heck about the CNC, and then half of us use lasers.
I was the one that got the laser ornament, which was awesome. Thank you, Matt and Dom.
That is great. I love the irony. Darius, you spoke a little bit about your ornament that you made last week, but what can you tell us again? What inspired you to make that ornament, and what was the challenges of it?
So I was already working on basically items for craft shows and stuff like that. So I was looking for the Christmas kind of theme items. So I was already working on these geometric snowflakes. So I had a lot of extra tiny little pieces from these things. So I was like, I'm making a pretty big ornament. Let me just make something smaller. And obviously I can't just ship one of these big ones, because if you hang on a Christmas tree, it'll be like a Charlie Brown tree. So I kind of like, well, let me scale it down a little bit with all these little cut off pieces I had, and just kind of try to scale out the measurements the best I could as with the tools I had, and basically use the table saw, cut them up in pretty small pieces, and started gluing to very little pieces. And then just with the paint scheme, I just kind of incorporated the design because I was sending it to Matt and Dom at Friday Workshop, and obviously you see their background with the white and red, and that kind of stuck out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some painting of it of red and white, and then add a little bit of myself so they can remember that was from me. So as you can kind of see, it's a little bit of a black and yellow, or yellow and black. So add a little bit of that color of me, add a sticker on the back, and off it went.
Awesome. I see Chris has another obligation at the same time, so he's in transit. I see Mike from Woodcraft 716 is trying to join. I'm going to try to bring him in. Mike, we don't have visual, but can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You're really, really soft.
Yeah.
Can you get closer to your mic?
Yeah, if you just give me a minute, I'll try.
Yep. No problem, Mike. Yeah, so I think Mike needs to turn on his lights. He's in the dark. No, he's working on joining. I think that's gonna be great. So yeah, so the collaboration went on. What other ideas before you came up with ornaments? What ideas did you throw around?
Yeah, a ton of ideas. Toys was a big one. We were thinking about a bunch of other things as well. What was that, Darius? What did we think of?
I think we also mentioned like some kind of game of some sort.
Games and toys and a lot of Christmas ornament ideas or Christmas oriented ideas. And for sure next year, who knows, what the theme will be. We'll probably steal something from that list because it was a good list.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about this collaboration is that you can really do just about anything, and then still leave it up to the creator to be creative with it, and put their own spin on it. And I think one of the hesitations about ornaments at first may have been that they were afraid that there wouldn't be enough diversity in the designs, but truly, one design did not reflect another. Out of each of you, every design was unique and showed the different the skill sets and creativity of each designer. I really liked it. Anybody who hasn't seen these videos needs to go check them out, I think. So you picked up a few subscribers. It's kind of a collaboration effort, and going into this, whenever you collaborate with other creators for a YouTube collaboration like this, what's your goal here? What are you trying to get out of this?
I'd say mostly our main goal when we're doing this is to make sure that we can find people we can work with, and we want to try and just work as hard as we can, find new people to watch our channel, and pretty much just find people to woodwork with and do stuff with in the future. I find them very fun, and they're pretty fun to do.
Yeah, I think the fun aspect, being able to just associate with other creators, add another spin. One of the reasons I wanted to be in it was because the other collaborations I was in helped provide me a deadline when things had to be done. I just couldn't make it work for this one. I wish I could. Chris, what did you want to get out of these collaborations?
I really just enjoy the camaraderie and working together with the guys. The deadline is the only thing that kept me alive, and I should have done it this year because I had way too much going on. But I did it, pushed me a little bit harder and a little bit further than I should have gone. But it all worked great, and I got to spend a lot of good time with the guys, and I got an awesome ornament out of it. So it's all great. It's a lot of fun. I really highly recommend that people do this if they're a little unsure. Do it. The motivator is great, and it's a great overall experience.
Yeah, I think one of the great things about YouTube is the connections that we can make long distance, and it's not just with our viewers, and not just with the other channels that we watch, but with other creators. The bonds that we can make and the fun that we can have going back and forth with these kind of collaborations. Darius, what was your goal going into this?
Just it's kind of to get out of your comfort zone. You're in your shed, you're kind of doing your own thing or whatever. But if you can join a group and make a project together, where either work on the same thing or same theme of something, kind of gets you to think a little bit, think outside of your out of the box. Okay, what can I make? This is what tools I have. What can I create? Last year I did a collaboration for that Maker's Rock. So it was basically recreating a rock album. Never, built anything, never did anything like that. But I'm like, well, let me try it. It might not be the best looking, but I'm going to try to, make it. So the same thing here is you just start working on it. And as you chug along, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is actually looking pretty good. Actually, I can make this. I can make this work. And yeah, you get some more subscribers, hopefully from the cross, promotion of each other's. YouTube only does so much for you to get the audience, but if you can kind of get the help from other channels, whether they're also small or even larger channels, it's a nice little boost in morale. But just just a chat between us, just giving us each other a little, you can't use a CNC or anything like that, but it's just fun little jokes here and there, and just anything we've put together, little intros and everything else. That was just kind of fun, it's almost like hanging out with each other, but long distance.
Absolutely.
The chat is super fun. That's the best part about it, and it's actually the saddest part when it's all over is when the chat winds down and all of the fun conversations that you had. Yeah, I remember last year, one of the most joking guys that you don't even know is from Bassador Woodworking, and that guy he's hilarious in the chat. And so yeah, and then we did a one in the summer with Sandy from McKinsey Lumber Mill, and she's a blast. She finished her editing in like Bora Bora or something, and like because she couldn't get her video done in time. So you get like these collaborations together with woodworkers, people that I mean, because you sit and you don't really get to talk. I mean, I'm lucky I get to talk about YouTube stuff all the time, but a lot of people that they don't have anybody in their house they can talk to about it or whatever. Like what are you using, like DaVinci Resolve or whatever, what settings do you have? And this is a super fun way to get connections with other people. I really that's the most fun about it is just kind of talking to people out there doing the same thing and having fun in the same way that we are.
Yeah. Let's bring on Woodcraft 716. Mike, how you doing?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, still a little bit soft, but better than before.
Okay, I'll try and speak up. Those are excellent glasses, Friday workshop.
and we can see you this time too. So
yeah.
that's a big win.
Yeah. You can't say. You can't say them. We suck. We're not good at it. There you go.
Excellent.
How is it in the 716? Are you surviving the Buffalo storm?
Yeah, Christmas was canceled. My mom got a little over 5 feet of snow. And I lucked out. I'm in the southern tier. We usually get most of the snow, but this year it missed us. So the city got hammered. 5 feet of snow, drifts 20 feet. All along the waterfront's messed up. It's crazy.
Yeah. Prayer for those who are suffering through that and those who have lost people because of it. I know that there's been some.
So far, just in Erie County.
Yeah, that's a rough storm. It's like the worst in 40 years or something.
Yeah, once in a generation is what they're saying.
Yeah,
wind chills were minus 30. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's bad. So, meanwhile, in South Carolina, it's been cold for us down in the teens, but nothing compared to some of you and yet I've had 2 pipes burst in the last 24 hours. So I've been dealing with that today. But that is a first world problem, right?
Yeah.
So, but we have running water and all as well. So, Mike, do you have, other than that, you had a safe Christmas. You just couldn't make it with all your family, right?
Right. Couldn't make it with all the family. Everybody's safe. We did our own thing, and we'll get together real soon.
Yeah. So let's talk about your project for this collaboration a second, Mike. So you actually had something happen on your lathe that gave you quite a scare, right?
Yeah. A piece flew out. I wasn't that familiar with making this style of ornament. I've made a bunch of them in the past, but I tried to use some shorter jaws and lost control of the piece. I tried taking off a little too much at the end, and it just flew off. So, being an amateur, I'm glad that I didn't get hurt, and I had all my safety equipment on, and I'm glad it was on film that I could show I had my safety equipment on.
Yeah, Mike's ornament incorporated, was it a sea urchin shell?
Yeah, sea urchin shell and wood turn lathe. There it is. There I made Darius was my Secret Santa.
Oh, let me zoom in on that for those watching. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that turned out incredible. Where did you get that idea, Mike?
I actually got it from another channel, which I probably should have given him a shout out, but he's a really big wood turner, worth the effort woodworking. I may modify my description to put that in there because it was his idea, and his video is about an hour long. really detailed and I mean top notch stuff. So
Awesome. And we were talking a minute ago about the goals of the collaboration. What was your goal going into this collaboration, Mike?
To be honest with you, just working with you guys and finally getting to talk to all of you and meet you guys. You know, we all kind of been communicating, but it's different to hear your voice and see you. I mean, I hear your voice in your video, but it's, you know, it's not the same as talking to you all. And man, I was jealous last year. I missed out on the box. I hadn't heard about it until it was already underway, and I wanted to be part of that. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm that was an interesting one. I really enjoyed it. I still got that box that was sent to me from Jack at Everyman Builds, and I sent mine to Jake last year. It was a fun project. I wish I could have participated this year. So whenever you're being invited or you're looking at considering a collaboration, what advice would you give to someone else out there? Chris, why don't we start with you? If another creator is out there considering a collaboration, what would you tell them?
Absolutely. You don't hesitate. You're going to think that you're outside your depth. You're going to think that you don't have the ability, but do it. You will learn. You will grow. It is absolutely worth the experience, and you'll be better for it. You'll enjoy it. Your channel will do good for it. It's a win all the way around. And the deadline, it gives you a little bit of something to push to. So it really helps. I would say absolutely do it. Just push everything aside. Take care of, of course, your daily that you got to do, but just do it.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's good advice. Dom and Matt, what do you think? What would you tell somebody?
Well, first of all, I would tell Chris to order chicken tacos because they look good. No, setting up these collabs is fantastic, and I think you get to hang around channels you normally don't, which is great. In these sorts of things in the beginning, it's good to over-invite because people get excited about collabs, and then a lot of people don't follow through. So it's kind of nice to kind of like that birthday party where you ask a little bit more people than you think would show,
and half show up.
Yeah, but it's great. And then I think if I do another one of these again, I'd wait a little bit later. We started a little earlier, and then people had some things come up, so get people a little bit later when the excitement's still in there. But I think, yeah, where there's lessons learned with every sort of thing like this. So for sure. But oh my goodness.
And also after the first one, you often can get those people back, and then you can get more and more and more, and as you do collaborations further.
Absolutely. With YouTube, you watch a bunch of channels, you have a bunch of these one-way friendships, right? And it's kind of nice. Like Mike, who just joined, we sent him a sticker, and he's got it on his wall and everything. And so we've started getting some rapport with Mike, and it's nice to talk to him in the chat and hear his voice now. So these sorts of things where you're on YouTube, you kind of take that second way friendship for granted.
Absolutely. It seems like a very beneficial thing to do. It seems that these collaborations provide some deadlines for those of us who need deadlines. It also gives you a chance to associate with others. It may or may not help grow your channel. It depends. If someone else has viewers that are not already watching your channel, they may come over and watch yours video and be hooked. I try to watch all of you guys and your videos, and I think others would enjoy your content. Just to let you know, 2M Builds couldn't be here tonight, but he says, "Hi all, I am stuck at work and couldn't join the show tonight, but I had to jump on to say how much fun it was and how much fun this collaboration was. I feel honored to be a part of this collaboration with the group." 2M Build, Ryan was on with us last Wednesday, so go back and watch that live stream. He had a great project that he did. The laser work and the design of that ornament was great. Hugh from McMath Woodworks was also on with us last week. If you are not familiar with his content, go see it. If you like dad jokes and woodworking, right up your alley. Good stuff. So some of you are repeat offenders. If they were prosecuting you as a collaborator, you are collaborating as often as you can. Now, Darius mentioned that he's done the what's it called, Darius? The rock album?
Yeah, Maker's Rock.
Maker's Rock, which looks like a fun project. And now you've done this one. And Friday Workshop, it seems like every time you finish a collaboration, you join another collaboration. How many have you been in so far?
That is our 5th one, I think, in total.
Yeah, you're getting into it very much. And for anybody that doesn't know, Friday Workshop, they release videos every Friday and then some. So some of the most consistent as far as releasing videos out there. Some of the rest of us don't release quite as often. And they're a father-son team, not a brothers team.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me in, but I gotta pop out. I hear my chimichanga calling. I gotta go.
All right, that's great, Chris.
So, hey,
Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you guys in the next collaboration. Have a Merry Christmas, and everybody have a great New Year.
All right, Merry Christmas. Yeah. It goes from Christmas dinner to chimichangas. You can't beat that.
And if, hey, Matt, if you're not here in time for your taco, I'm going to eat it.
All right, cool. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. So that was great. So what do each of you have planned for the new year? You as far as your woodworking and YouTube, what do you have going on? What's in the plans? Mike, we'll start with you. What you got going on?
I'm still trying to get back into the groove of releasing more consistently. This was a fun project, and of course, I was late, so that's not really all that great. But and the next one, I'll definitely try to get in a little bit earlier and get going on it. I definitely want to do it again. So for the future, I'm looking for some shorter videos, maybe to a quick tool review or a quick safety video, something I can handle right now with my workload. So
yeah, Mike, are you still doing the full-time woodwork thing?
No. Regretfully, I just some things happened in my life, and my wife had to leave her job to care for a family member, and that meant me going back to work. I haven't mentioned that publicly. This is the first time. Not that I feel like a failure. I just, struggled. It's hard to give up something that you had, a good thing going, and still trying to keep that rapport with the customers, because I'm still trying to do it on the side. So, but it was back to the machine shop for me, for a little while.
No regret there. Life events are going to happen, and we start going down a road, and sometimes that road was not meant for us. I once heard a story, and I can't recall who gave the story at the time, but he talked about a father and son who were out in the mountains of Idaho or Utah or one of those states, and it was about to get dark, and they truly didn't know the way back home, and they were out in the desert in the mountains, and they came to a fork in what they thought was the road, and they said a prayer and said, should we go to the right or left? And they both were inspired to go to the right. And after a short drive, while the sun was still out, they came to a complete stop because they were about to run off of a cliff. So they turned around and went back to the fork and went the other direction. And after a long drive, they found their way out and made it to safety. And the son asked the father, why, when we prayed, were we inspired to go the wrong direction? And the father had the foresight to say, well, we weren't meant to go that direction, but we went that short ways, realized it was the wrong direction before dark, and now we know we're on the right path. We know we're doing what we're supposed to, and we knew we would make it to safety. And that way, the anxiety was gone with only a short detour. So sometimes we have to be redirected back to our path. And we lost him. There, you're back.
Sorry, I missed most of what you said.
It's okay. It's okay. I probably didn't tell it well, but the point is, don't worry about that. You know, you are in your place in life where the Lord needs you if you'll just follow the promptings, and whenever family needs you, you got to be there. So I respect you, Mike.
Well, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
You know, and the dream's not gone, and I plan on continuing, but I had to stop running my ads because everybody wanted something still, and the business was going okay, and I don't really want to lose customers, so I just stopped running some ads, and I still try to do as much as I can, on the side, to keep that dream alive.
Well, from a greedy YouTube viewer perspective, I hope you still find time to make some videos and keep that going, because I enjoy your videos. I hope you keep them going.
Thanks. I mean, that is the plan. I finally, get to the point where I'm starting to get a little bit of money. It's not a lot, I don't know if you want me to tell you. I'm open and tell you if you care, but I would say I make about $60 a month from YouTube, and they only pay out when you make more than 100. So
right.
Every 2 months I make $150, but I could see that, that's with 4,000 subscribers. What would it be like with 10,000, 20,000, 100,000,
Yeah. And what if you had 20, 30, 50,000 subscribers and you released videos every week or every other week?
Right. So
you could increase that.
I'm going to keep on plugging away with this, and I try to be more consistent,
Yeah, I'm monetized on my other channel now, and I can see it's going to be a couple of months before I get a check.
Yeah, but you know what? You'll get that check, and it's a pretty good feeling,
Yeah, absolutely.
A little reward for your hard work.
That's it. I'm not depending on it for my income, so it'd be anything would be great, and I can turn around and hopefully someday we'll get this channel monetized. I'd like to be able to do some occasional giveaways and stuff, but you need a little bit of income to help with that. Matt and Dom, what direction y'all are going in the coming year?
Oh, that's us. Okay. Sorry, there was a little hiccup. Dom, you want to say what we're doing the rest of the year?
We have a couple of videos set up to go. We're doing a year-end recap. We're going to do a shop tour, and we're going to talk about the prehistoric horse that's the closest relative to our current day horse?
Yeah, so there's a Hagerman horse video as well. Dom's also doing editing for another YouTube channel as well now, like a lumber mill out of Canada. And yeah, so yeah, fun stuff. So
and for next year, we're gonna be upping the editing, and it's gonna be a lot of work next year, but it's gonna look a lot better. We're getting new sound system, and it's gonna be pretty cool.
You become quite the editor there, Don.
It's all Dom. Dom does all the editing.
You gonna branch out and try to find more work in that?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna try and see as far as I can take this, because I really enjoy editing. It's probably one of my favorite parts of making a video, and like, because I can decide how the finished product turns out, and I can see it right away, and it feels pretty good to just be able to control the process of it.
Yeah, and you're growing up on YouTube, Don.
Yeah, it's crazy. I watched some of your other older videos, and yeah, you're turning into a fine young man.
Yeah,
thank you.
I feel like you were just a little kid the other day, but
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're growing up quick.
That's really cool. I think it's really cool.
So whenever you're talking to the girls, are you like, I'm on YouTube?
No, but that would be pretty useful, I think.
Yeah. So I'm an influencer. Yeah. Darius, we touched on it a little bit the other night. What you got coming up in the new year?
I'm gonna try to take on doing some little projects with epoxy. I've seen a lot of videos. I kind of like how the looks are between epoxy and wood. So I have a few items I want to create. Also, I plan on doing a little shop tour of what I have currently, and kind of like a update of how it's gone the whole first year, and then start kind of doing little like upgrades, because there's a few things after the whole year I'm like, yeah, I got to upgrade this. This is not working anymore. So it's like, I'll, address that along with the videos. Be like, okay, this is what I made the first time around. This with my skill level at a time. I improve stuff. I have more ideas, and I'll, take you guys along with the journey of little upgrades to either the workbench or just in the shop alone. And that's basically it. Just kind of keep making some of these craft kind of items, seasonal stuff. I want to do a few flags, not just the American flag, but obviously I did a couple Chicago flags. One actual Chicago flags with the stars and the light blue stripes, and also like a Chicago Bears theme for someone. I just finished the heavy metal planter box. Someone requested a fairly large one for a Christmas present for someone, and they wanted to have engravings on there of a guitar and originally 4 band names, which ended up being, I think, 5 band names and the heavy metal symbol on there. So I had to, engrave that without a CNC. So I kind of did the research on what are my options and found some research, and actually came out pretty good. So I'll post a picture on our chat so you guys can check out what I made, and eventually I'll have the video for it.
Awesome. What? So Dom, let's start with Matt and Dom. What tools are you looking to get next? I know you really like the table saw, but what tool are you looking to get into your shop that you don't have now?
Yeah, absolutely. So Friday Workshop was supposed to be a makerspace shop, right? And we started with woodworking, and then we built an electronic station, but there's been just so much woodworking. Eventually we'd like to get into plastic and metal as well, and be a full makerspace shop. But there's just so much learning in woodworking that the first few years were just us learning the craft in woodworking. But yeah, eventually we want to do CNC for sure. We're building out larger projects, and we're going to be starting to sell projects in Saturday market next spring, and some of those sorts of things. Eventually, I mean, everybody wants a saw stop. What tools do you think you want?
I think it would be fun to get some like new hammers, because I've noticed that those ones are starting to get a bit old. Hope you're excited about your chisel set that you got for Christmas too. And
he got me a chisel set for Christmas, which is amazing, and I love hand tool woodworking, and so that's real nice. So he knows that. So
You know, it's probably good to see a video from you on how to sharpen those chisels. Just throwing out an idea. You know what I was expecting?
We have a video on that.
Yeah. But I thought with your new set, you're going to have to sharpen those, right?
Yeah.
So you, I was expecting maybe you might say something like a 3D printer. I could see you two getting into that.
Yeah, definitely 3D printer, CNC. Yeah, we just whole plastic, metal, wood. We've got a welder, but a few other things for metal, like a lathe would be nice, like a machinist lathe, so that we could do both wood and metal on it, but fine tooth. We're thinking to get into inlays for pool sticks as well, and do some stuff for that as well. So
now, if you get really good at making pool sticks, some of those are sell for really high dollars. Those are, that is one of the most expensive hobbies. I mean, that's more expensive than bowling. It really is. I'm not joking. Matt, Mike, what tools are you looking to get next?
Well, they're not so much tools as I need a better outfeed table, some accessories like a sled, just more or less fixtures this year, I think. I went a little crazy last year starting the business, and I'm pretty much have everything I need. But now it's time to upgrade some of the stuff in the shop, I think.
Yeah. People always talk about project videos aren't doing very well, but from what I've seen out of project videos, making fixtures for your shop, still seem to do well if they're innovative. So right. if you're making if you're making another crosscut sled for the table saw, you might not get as many views unless you really have some super features on it. Right. But there's some specialty jigs that people make that seem to get a lot of views because people like me continue to want to see those things, and we want to make those for our shops.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. Darius, I know you like DeWalt, but what tools are you looking to get this year?
I think I'm kind of set on tools. I have pretty much the basics. They're all still running perfectly fine, so I don't need to, replace anything yet. Knock on wood. Everything's good right now. Tool-wise, obviously, having a CNC would be kind of cool. Be able to like make pieces quicker and everything else to build stuff. But right now, I'm kind of limited in the space and how much power I can bring in here to do it. So right now, just the focus is just on the craft stuff, make stuff for, basically build stuff for customers, expand there, and then eventually when timing's right, the market's better, and then get bigger place and get a 2-car garage or whatever it might be. At that point would be where I would upgrade certain items, or just kind of a whole different setup, which obviously getting a house or whatever, it'll also open the opportunity to expand the channel a little bit by doing some DIY stuff around the house, stuff like that. Build some kind of furniture piece or just remodel a whole, living room, family room, something like that. So that's like the ultimate goal, to do stuff like that. But for the upcoming year, I think I'm just kind of set with what I have. I have a bandsaw, even though it's second hand, but it works fine. And for what I'm going to be using it, it's perfectly fine. I got the router. I got, table saw, miter saw, everything works. I might do a little upgrading to the miter saw. Try to, figure out what I can do with the dust collection for it to improve it, along with just adding like that laser light kind of thing on there. I bought the light, but just haven't come around to install it because I want to make a video on it. But then I have stuff that I want to build, so I can't just like take the saw apart and do it. But I think I got the basics. Yeah, I got the clamps, everything else. So I'm pretty much set. You just build and try to get creative.
Yeah, that's awesome. What type of projects are you looking to make that you haven't made so far?
I'm still drawing out something I need for myself. Basically, it's with this limited space I have, I want to do it's kind of like it's a C table, kind of like over the sofa, kind of armrest thing that you can bring it up, put your laptop on, stuff like that. Everything I've seen is just this regular C with a little small top for your glass or your remote or book. But I want to kind of expand that top and have it like open up, put your laptop in there, kind of enclose everything together. So that's kind of like an idea I have. I'm just kind of figuring out what dimensions I want that top to be, so it doesn't look too out of place in the bedroom or in the living room, basically. So I can put my laptop there and do some editing in a little bit more comfort.
Awesome. And Matt and Don, what about you? What projects are you looking to make that you haven't made so far?
Oh, so many. Yeah, we want to do wild things. We come out with a video every week, so we've got a whole list of. We want to make a chessboard without using a table saw. It's going to be really fun.
And then chess pieces also.
Chess pieces also. See if we can do that without a lathe. Yeah, we want to build a robot that cleans the toilet for you. We've got everything on the list, so good to go.
Awesome. You might invent the next
take my money
Zumba. Mike, what projects are you looking to make that you haven't made yet?
Well, right now I'm rebuilding a trailer for my stepson, and I thought about just trying to film some of the home improvement type things that we're doing there, but I don't really know. I'm just gonna kind of let things gravitate to me, and hopefully, as customers come in, I'll have some projects that they want that I can, make videos of. So that works the best for me, because then I'm making something to sell and, making a video at the same time. So I do have one of the benchtop
All right. I think we lost Mike. We got him in freeze frame there, but I see you others shaking your head. Mike, you back? Okay.
Yeah. So I was just saying, I do have one of the benchtop CNCs, and I upgraded and bought the laser attachment, the laser engraver. And I'm finding the laser engraver way more useful than the CNC. The time that it takes to set up and the time that it takes to run it and to customize it, say for a customer, is so.
I think Chris was listening in and has blocked your signal because he doesn't want people to talk bad about the CNC. So, no.
The laser's super cool, by the way. We have a laser as well. Ours is the Furo Laser 1 or whatever. It's literally like the size of a laptop, maybe a little bit bigger. It doesn't take up that much space at all. And holy cow, the things that you can do with it are incredible. So yeah, I totally agree with Mike on a laser being like a really easy, win for a shop for sure.
Yeah. So, like I like watching like Build Dead Build because he does a lot of laser work. And the lasers are incredible what they can do with, with your woodworking projects, but with metal products as well. You know, he does things on cups and flask for people that it seems like that it would be very friendly to a one person small business to get things going. Mike, did you get back with us?
Yes, I'm back with you. Sorry.
No problem. And there he goes. Okay.
Two Elms cut fabric with his laser for his Christmas ornament. I mean, I'd never even thought about using the laser to cut fabric for something.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant use of that laser for sure.
I really like that design of what he put together for you with that multi layers, and each one was done with the laser.
The background choice too, to match his logo.
Matching his logo, kind of had a theme right off of Hugh's channel.
Caffeine power.
very, very, very insightful.
He did such a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed all your videos. I was I see Mike moving again. So, Mike, we talked a little bit about the CNC versus the laser and how the laser is. It seems sweet, man. It seems like it's the bee's knees.
Yeah, it just, at least for that size machine, that's what I was trying to spit out before I kept freezing. If I had a 5-footer, I could really make some projects with the CNC. But the little machine, the laser, to me, is the way to go. And they're not easy to switch back and forth. There's a lot of setup and finding your zero, and I just prefer to leave it set up for the laser and not do any more engraving for now.
Yeah. Yeah, with a small footprint in your shop, seems like the laser would be very versatile, where the CNC, it seems like you need more floor space.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think having a laser would be fun. And how was the learning curve for you, Mike, on learning the software and being able to customize it?
Hard. You know, I watched a British guy, James Dean Builds, and he's all about the $300 CNC machines. He goes up to the bigger ones, but he's got 3 or 4 different brands that he's probably got 20 videos on each one. You know, it really helped out.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of chat comments coming in. I did see one. Thank you, Dusty Trails, for digging the vest.
Dress man.
I'll tell you, my grandmother made this. This was probably, if it wasn't the last piece of clothing she made in her life, it was one of, and it was 25 plus years ago. And it used to be loose on me, though, so I think it shrunk. That's what I'm going with, is that the vest probably shrunk.
Probably.
But yeah, thank you for the compliment. And there we go. And doing, but the collaboration was great. If you had to tell a viewer one reason they should go watch all the videos, what would you tell them? I'll start with Darius, because he has a look on his face like he's really thinking about it.
Just, check out all the channels, because everyone had, they personalized something for someone else with just one theme and ornament. They could have done, simple globe, round ball, globe kind of thing, but everyone kind of put their own little spin to everything. And it's kind of, it's a fun project. And, you get, just building something for someone else, and then you see their reaction on their channel of your present to them, basically. So that's always a fun reveal, the unboxing, as they call it.
Yeah, cool. And Dom, Matt.
I'd say it's very entertaining when you often, and it's very educational, and it's often like just turns out pretty well.
All right. How about it, Mike? What would you tell somebody that
I just think that you know,
well said. I agree. I think everybody should go watch them. I think if you like the creative process and you like watching creators put their spin on a project, these are good videos. I will put that link in here so you can go check it out after the live stream. And guys, anything else you want to share with us tonight?
Can't wait for the next one.
There you go. There you go. Are you going to do the Maker's Rock again, Darius?
Most likely. I'll try to squeeze in time for that. Get in early to get the best pick for the album. Based on my skill level, I can recreate.
So do they? I'm not sure the details on that one. Did they let you pick any album you want?
The theme was kind of like rock, but it was just ended up being, I think, any band really at one point, and I think there was like a list going, and then you just kind of put your name under a list or add onto it, so no one had a repeat of the same thing, and just kind of went from that list. So the quicker you got in your item, then you had dibs on it.
Nice. Matt and Dom, anything you want to tell your viewers?
Friday workshop is awesome. It's all about
building things, or we're doing the workshop.
Yeah, like and subscribe to Married Man here, and like and subscribe to Mighty Sawdust, Mike, everybody else in the channels. It's a great opportunity to see channels you've never seen before. Q is such an underrated channel there. Subscribe to him. Subscribe to us. We put out videos every Friday. And
sometimes even more.
Wednesdays.
Sometimes even more. Mike, anything you want to share with your audience?
Just thanks for the support, and we'll try to keep.
Perfect. Well said. It reminds me of. I'm not saying Mike reminds me of Forrest Gump, but it reminds me of that scene in Forrest Gump when Forrest Gump's about to address the crowd and they unplug the cords, but he just keeps going. That's how I feel half the time whenever I'm on a meeting and I'm talking and nobody can hear me. So, you back, Mike?
Yep.
I'm sorry, Mike. All right. Go right ahead.
Back out here. It was great to work with all you guys, though. Anytime you want to reach out and do something else, I was thinking a charity maybe, collab maybe one time would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Don't know about, making toys out of wood and the finishes we might need or whatever, but maybe some kind of charity, something that we could all do in our own town or something.
Yeah. Matt and Dom, I believe Matt and Dom is the ones that brought up about Toys for Tots at one point.
Yeah,
okay.
2 years in a row we've done Toys for Tots, and
yeah.
I absolutely other things. I mean, we would build planners for retirement homes and that sort of thing. So, anything you want to do to help the community, we'd be all for doing something like that.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe we could help set up some kind of online auction and make some pieces to auction off for a different charity.
All right.
As well.
Now we're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are endless. I mean, you can really make a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
I want to say Merry Christmas to each of you. I hope you had a great one, and I hope that you have a Happy New Year. But right now, I hear my wife calling. I got to go.
dude. Pleasure,
And I think it's
guys.
easier for people to look at my story, for example, or anybody like in a similar story, and think that that was an easy decision. And I can't state how much that was a very hard decision for both my wife and I.
You know, I still do some from time to time now.
Okay. And what led you from that into video creation on YouTube?
Boredom.
What's the next step? What is the next thing? What's going to get you to that next place?
It wasn't like YouTube's good and this and that. Like I was still pretty new to YouTube and didn't know that was sustainable long term, and so it was a gamble. And I'd worked for a long time to get in the position I was at, and it was a very, very hard decision to basically give that up for potentially the rest of my life.
With me being a business-minded individual and trying to make sure that I'm providing for my family, but also always growing.
It's really kind of sad because I didn't get involved even when he was doing the noodle boards. He pretty much did all that. I did everything in the house so that he could stay in the shop a lot.
I am a little conflicted, I think. It initially started off with just sharing like my sewing machines and sewing tips and stuff like that. And then it kind of morphed into sharing the Mastering Mayhem merch items that I was making. And then along the way, I kind of shared some DeWalt tool and obsessions that I've had.
Hats off to Ira. I mean, I can't imagine doing it with small kids. That's a lot of work.
Well, this is a little chaotic, so.
My part really didn't start until Live Edge started. When we started Live Edge, I don't know, I felt different about everything. It felt real to me. I think everything started feeling real to him, after the first few months because he was in the shop. It didn't really feel real to me until Live Edge started. And now I see this as my future too. I don't think I'll be a teacher much longer.
Because I wasn't quite niched enough, but I think because my channel name is I Don't Even Work Here, I think I'm just going to roll with.
I'm going to put out some shorts for staging. Staging is simply where you make the piece of furniture or the item, whatever it is, if it's, wall decor, whatever it is that you're making. It's just where you simply make it look like it belongs in a home.
I never even considered the second channel. I just think that all of my content needs to go where I am.
I'll always be that individual that loves YouTube, that always wants to do extremely detailed videos on how to build.
I was living in Charleston. This was back in, we're talking 2013, March 19th, 2013 was when I posted my very first video.
So think about what the kid actually wants. Try to come up with projects that are quick wins. Sometimes it's not even really hammering something or sawing something. Sometimes it's just simply gluing a couple things together and then painting it. Like, think like a kid.
I had talked to a lot of people in the area trying to find a woodworkers group. Any people that were building stuff. Didn't even have to be woodworking, there just wasn't much of it. So a friend of mine suggested making videos on YouTube to reach out to other, meet other woodworkers, reach out to other people who were building things. And so I started checking it out, and that was really cool. I saw, back then it was Steve Ramsey, Mark Spagnolo, Laney Shaughnessy, and of course Matt's Basement Workshop. And they were kind of, those are really the four guys. I call them the four fathers. They're the four guys that really started the woodworking DIY thing on YouTube. Those were the guys that started it all. And then there was Matthias Wandel and John Heinz came along. And about the same time, Jimmy DeResta had started his thing, Bob Claggett, and I started about the same time, roughly within a year span there. We all started right around the same time, and it was just fun and exciting. I put a video up. It was the worst video that's ever been posted to YouTube. If you're hard on your videos, go check out my very first video ever. You won't feel so bad, I promise. But people commented, and I was interacting with them, and I took like another 2 months and I put up another video, and it happened again. People were, commenting and talking, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And between at those points, I was watching a lot of YouTube. It was ridiculous. I had done a lot of fishing because I had a lot of free time. So I've been fishing and watching YouTube videos. And I kind of saw that there was this gap in the market of things that, just these in the industrial side of making or furniture or other things, you tend to see a lot of things that you don't see in the DIY side. And there's a lot of adaptations that I saw that were possible. So I took a lot of my knowledge from that side of the world and kind of adapted it to the DIY and just started doing a lot of crazy and wild things that people hadn't seen before on equipment that wasn't designed for it, but it worked.
I've had them different times throughout the course of 14 years for different projects and different things that I'm working on. Right now, the team members behind the scenes all have to do with my online courses, but everything else, as far as what I do for my channel, it's all me.
Doing the research is not necessarily going to be the fun part, right? And we had Mr. King on here a couple of weeks ago. He was talking about the research he did before he released a single YouTube short. Well, the research he did led him to putting together a video less than a minute, but there was many, many hours of research before that, but it led to 5 million views. So research can be very important. This is counterintuitive to a lot of the suggestion out there on YouTube where everybody says, just hit record. Just go out in the garage and hit record. And your viewpoint seems to be different than that. What do you say to those people that say, just hit record?
I'm glad you brought it up, RT. There's a lot of, I call them talking points that have manifested themselves for whatever reason in the how to grow space. The just hit record is probably one of the ones that drives me the most insane. I mean, you can go out and just hit record, but again, set your expectations for what you think the output and the end result is going to be. You get out of things what you put into them. And you may get lucky and you might catch a unicorn, but I'm going to bet 9 times out of 10, if you just go out and you hit record, you don't do any research, you don't have a plan, you don't have a rough script, you don't have a target audience, you don't have value that you're looking to provide. Again, I just think you're setting yourself up for unneeded frustration when a little prep and work up front can pay extreme dividends in the end. And you don't get a do-over when you post the video. Once it goes out into the interwebs, it's done. And you can't go back and redo the same topic right away because then you look like a goof.
I'm inspired by this guy. It's a little not fair because he does have a bigger, larger channel, but he has a smaller woodworking channel that's done pretty well this past year as well as in 2020. And his name is Robert Dunn.
Authenticity is something that I strive for all the time. I always try to just be myself, but everybody always says that. They always say, well, when you're on camera, just be yourself. But as soon as the camera goes on, you're never really yourself because you're always aware of the image that you're projecting, and then you're going to refine that further when you're editing it. At best, I think most of us are only, at best, maybe 80 to 90% ourselves. There's always that part that's carefully curated.
And he's hilarious. I think he is one of the best people in front of the camera in our space. His bigger channel is a car channel. I'm not going to kind of focus on that. But under Dunn, he has made a handful of videos this past year. Not nearly as many as he made in 2020, but he still racked in quite a few views. Especially, he had some videos over 100,000, some over 500,000. And what I really want to emphasize with Robert Dunn, even if you watch his Aging Wheels channel or Underdone, his woodworking channel, is his confidence, relaxation, and charisma. And it might come naturally to him, but I believe that everyone can work on charisma, and they can look at someone like Robert Dunn and get inspired.
And as far as working to become more natural on camera, that's just time. You just keep doing it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get at it. And I do think it's important to, as much as I'm not really a fan of saying having the avatar behind the camera, I do think it helps to imagine that you're actually talking to somebody who will be watching the video. Sometimes it's easy to forget that you see numbers of people watching, but you forget that these are actual people watching your video on their phone or on their TV or wherever. And I think it's important to keep that in mind.